Welcome to another Secret Influence TV interview. Today, I'm very excited to be interviewing Scott Warren. Scott Warren is a pricing wizard, and Scott will be explaining what that is, what he does, and how he helps people. Welcome, Scott, Secret Influence TV.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me. So, yes.
So, first of all, do you want to share a bit about your background and how you became a business consultant?
So in 2016, I became homeless. I lost everything. So I only left with the shirt on my back, even with my debts. But obviously, with those debts, I then had to get those paid. So over the next coming years, I negotiated my own debts. I know I should have put someone in place, but I learned how to negotiate, how to empower myself, how to make sure that deal with those really crippling financial situations to help those. And that's it. It's understanding how to deal with that. So then when we had that COVID pandemic, that global pandemic, we had families that were struggling in the same situation, making the same mistakes that I was going to do, actually feeling that I can't deal with this. I am going to bury my head in the sand and think that the magic pixies are going to come along, they're going to take everything away. I can't deal with this. I empowered those families to actually deal with that, to realize how to make sure that the rules are on their side, use the rules that they're on their side to deal with the situations, to make sure that when we come out of it, they're in a much more even keel, so they haven't got to deal with the debts, deal with the situations, get rid of that stress, anxiety that they can pay those bills and get what it is. Then what I was doing, I was gradually getting more business owners who were struggling to pay their bills, because what was happening was they were using the profit that they had for their business to pay for the food on the table, to pay for those mortgages, and pay for the bills. And because they weren't making the sales, they weren't making the profit. So the thing is, they were having to make those choices. I could see from what was going wrong that actually what they were doing was actually weren't charging enough. So in some kind of crazy situation, as we always see, we have a spark of insanity in the evening. Sure. I developed my own pricing system and started to realize that back end of that, I realized that there's a real need and requirement, because there is no system. There is nobody there who is a consultant in pricing who really is teaching them the fundamental pricing thing, pricing systems, pricing models to really go forward and take their business to the next level. But it's not just about taking the business, it's about taking the life as well to the next level as well.
Yeah, so people say it's it's not just what you do in life, but it's why you do it, because the way you do what you do is the motivation for what you do. It drives your values, it's your brand story. And I think clearly, your experiences have led to what you do, and you bring that experience into your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I don't wake up to, I mean, yes, we're all here to make money. Let's be honest. Let's put the titles on the table. We're here all to make money. But the thing is, we can't be driven by money. I get up and I do what I want to do so I can make an influence on that business person's life. And I know that by getting that fundamental correct, we can make a difference. I have made differences, where families are struggling because they don't know whether they're going to kind of get that brand envelope and they're worried about it. To where now they're not worried about actually how am I going to put the food on the table. They go from that choice is, what am I going to do for my holidays? Where can I go for my weekend? What can I do? It's a total different switch. By getting that key fundamental, it makes a world of difference between absolutely right, which bill am I going to pay? What food am I going to put on the table? Am I going to put food on the table? Is to what weekend am I going to? Where am I going? What am I doing this weekend with my family? Which is a big difference in what people are doing.
So, who in your business, who's I mean, some of the things you talk about. I mean, managing money, and for challenge for business charter services. Who's your ideal client for you? Who's your
It is that kind of thing. It's that businesses that are just surviving right now, and
right?
they're wanting to thrive,
Sure.
because every single business, or near enough, there is actually a couple of businesses that I've actually put that everyone needs to charge. Everyone needs to be charging the right price. I mean, yes, we all lack confidence. We lack that consistency. We have money issues. Everybody has kind of a money block. Everyone has a lack of confidence around money. So therefore, it is kind of everyone. But the thing is, the specific ones I'm looking for are those businesses right now who are in that situation, who are just surviving, who are just going through the day to day, the month after month, living life hand to mouth. I actually want to go out there and say, no, this is not good enough. I want to be better. And you can be better. You just need me on board so I can help you to be better and start thriving and start to live your life the way you deserve to live your life.
It's interesting. I think so many businesses, when they perhaps are getting enough clients, and they're perhaps struggling to bring in enough clients, enough money, automatically a lot of businesses do is lower their prices. Think if we have lower prices, we'll get more business, we'll get more sales. But actually, I think a lot of people say is, well, that's the worst thing to do. What you should do is actually keep your price the same or increase them, but add the value to what your product or service is. I mean, why do you think so many businesses, your clients, they struggle in this area of getting their pricing right, or bringing in enough clients at the right level? Why do you think so many businesses struggle at this?
Well, there's three things. So the thing is, in this country, we don't have the money education, the money literacy. So we're not taught the fundamentals at school. No one's taught about how to look at a balance sheet, how to look at a bank statement, understanding what's the difference between debitor and creditor, understanding, the value of a pint of milk, how to make sure that you can balance your bills, making sure you do a household budget. We're taught about trigonometry. We talk about algebra. I used to be really good at trigonometry at school. I've not used it since school. I probably can't even do it now. Really, do we need to know the actual kind of acute angles of a triangle? What we need to know and what we need to do at school is understand about what money means, how to get money literacy, and learn how to actually get better at budgeting and looking at how to budget better. Looking at, right, okay, what we got to do is make sure what bills are being paid first, which is being paid second, which has got to be paid last, and how to make sure we live on a budget we can do. Everyone can, and there is some difficulties. That's it. So that's the first thing. Second thing, no one's ever been taught about pricing. There is no system, there is no requirements, there is nothing out there to tell those people in a real good guide. It is all just, I tell you what, I just put my finger in the air. Or sometimes you hear, right, I tell you what, my bills are £2,000, so I need to make £2,000. There is nothing out there. I am the first person in this country to actually have a definitive guide that really gives you a lot more clarity about how you should be charging. So that's the thing. And I think it's just with that kind of thing as well, it's that consistency. The thing is, let's be honest, business can be hard. Sometimes you've got to put some hours in to get the rewards. And it's about having that kind of consistency in that approach, showing up and being that person that you want to be. And sometimes you've got to kind of go through a kind of period of building yourself up, showing you as an authentic leader, humble in what you're doing, your knowledge, your skills, your expertise. And so therefore you've got to kind of build up your quality and showing the way you are right now.
Yeah, I think they're good points. I think here is a lot about our education gives us education, but actually they don't give us the skills we need for life. Important skills for understanding money, for planning. Most people don't know everyone's going to end up in a job. Big skills for life, for business. And that's a really good point. And also, I don't know what you think about this, but I've heard people say, well, when we get advice, we tend to, or people who support us in the business can be people like, the bank manager who gives us the money depending on, our business plan, or they approve our business plan or support. But obviously, they don't have any experience running a business. They're in a job, and perhaps sometimes business consultants are good consultants, but they haven't run their own business in the same area. So I think even that way, the support and advice we get can be from people who don't actually have a relevant experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're taking the advice from the wrong people. Again, we all know that sometimes it is a little bit of a leap of faith, but we've got to make sure we're getting the right advice. And it's something I've been looking at as well. Something that's come through my things is what I've been reading lately. we've got to have the right people around us. And nobody can do this on their own. And I must admit, I have been doing this. I've done a lot of what I've done is on my own. I realize now. And it's just, the thing is, it's not just the support, it's a lot of support, and it is all about support. The thing is that, yes, you need someone who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the CD, got everything else. But then also you need someone to kind of support you, having that yin and yang and supporting you, because it's a roller coaster. You'll have 1 minute you're absolutely high, you're landing loads of costs, but you're getting that. Next minute, you're just thinking, right, okay, it's tumbleweed. What is going wrong and what is happening? It may be that you're doing nothing wrong. It's just one of those things. You've got a seasonal business. It may be you're doing nothing wrong, and all of a sudden you're just going for a trough, and that's all you need to know. And people with experience will understand and make sure that you plan for that trough. And hopefully you don't have it, but it is up and down all the time. And it's just making sure that you deal with the ups and how to deal with the downs. Experienced people who have been there will know how to deal with the downs, and also making sure that you can prepare for the downs when you're using the ups.
That's no, good point. I think there's a lot of people do training days, weekends, courses, and they learn great information, great techniques and things, and then they feel inspired, go away, and then obviously they're suddenly on their own, and then, like you say, maybe they put into place what they learn, but it is up and down, and it can be a lonely journey as a business owner, entrepreneur. So I think however you get it, whether it's ongoing support from a consultant like yourself, having that support from someone, coach or consultant or a network group you're in. But I think that is key, isn't it? Because like you say, it's up and down, and the ups are great, but when the downs come inevitably, that's when you need to have that support.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is about getting that support when you're doing the downs and getting to realize it. And actually sometimes is actually enjoying the downs as well, because actually I'm having a little bit of a down week this week, but because I've been having 3 weeks where I've absolutely been rammed full. So actually sometimes it's saying, okay, yes, I'll have a down week, give myself a little bit of a rest, get myself a breather, get the jobs that we don't get a chance to do when we're busy, get those little bit out, get out there, start to build it again, and make sure that we can see how we can flatten that line out a bit more.
Excellent. Good points. And just start, how do you approach understanding a client's business? Because I guess that's the key thing you do first of all, is understand what they do and where they're at. What's that process you go through when you
by having those conversations? It's really like what we're doing now. It's having that conversation, asking the right questions. I think one of the hardest questions I ask is, what does success mean to you? What does it actually mean to you? I mean, that's the thing. Success means everything to everyone else. And then what do you want to achieve out of your business? And it's that kind of understanding that you're going to get. And lots of people will find that probably difficult to ask, but that gives me a good understanding about where they are, what they want to do, and what they want to achieve. So it's a really nice, simple, easy questions, but these are sometimes really the hardest questions to ask, because people do not know what they want to achieve. And that's where it can also be a problem, because they don't know what success looks like. They don't know what they want to achieve. So therefore, they're not going to achieve it. And you've got to have, it's always going to be different, because it's not going to be like, okay, it's going to be AFO, but we've got to have that idea of what is it going to look like? What is the business going to look like? What is success going to look like? What is it going to be achieved? And by that, I can get to understanding about what they are and how they're working.
So in some ways it starts with the client being really clear of their vision, their goals, where they want to be. I guess if you're not really clear where you want to be and what that looks like, then you're never going to get there. I guess it starts with that. And you talk about this earlier about the importance of planning ahead. And do you think that sort of comes into the business planning? People don't get that right, that planning, planning the next.
Yeah, and because it is also scary as well, because at the end of the day, like lots of people will talk about, it's easier to look in the rearview mirror, and we're always looking at rearview mirror, looking at our past, looking at what we've got in the past, and it's hard to say, right, now we've got to look forward, and it's just literally, there's nothing. It's just an open road. We don't know what it is, and we've just got to look forward and deal with that and get forward. And it's just about looking forward, looking a way forward, and looking at, right, what is it going to be? What is our milestones? What is that kind of first thing that we want to tick off? How are we going to tick that off? and then start to build it up and build it in that kind of nice, simple, easy steps to go forward and start to click them off. And it may be that, right, okay, we've got no profit. So let's go, right, let's make £1,000 profit. Let's go out there and let's say, right, in 3 months, 4 months, let's go and make £1,000 profit. Let's go out and achieve that. You know, and just focusing on those kind of simple, easy milestones to build it up as well.
A sort of step by step,
Yeah.
reaching. And so, what I mean, we all know that so many businesses fail. I don't know, it was 90% in the first a year, and 50%. It's an incredible amount, and it's not because most of those businesses have great products and services. It's not because they don't have a good product or service. It's because they don't market themselves. They don't get enough clients. And then with that side, is that something you see? Do you see when your clients, do you think, well, they've got great products, got services, but they're not managing? Yes, there's an issue of their pricing, but obviously also you've got to get across, what your product service is, how much it costs, and the value. Is that something that you see that they're just not managing to?
Yeah, and I think lots of people, and it's a shame. I mean, let's be honest, there is a lot of products and lots of people have actually got some really good, fantastic ideas. But the thing is, it's that bit, really great, got a great idea, but then it's taking the idea from a concept into reality, and it's that difficulty, and it's about having that support and the right support to take it into that from that way, and realizing, I think sometimes it's taking that mindset from being an employer to employee, and it's that kind of mindset of being a business owner. It's a different kind of mindset, and the thing is, sometimes you've got to be setting your realistic expectations, and it's setting those kind of goals and those kind of things that are going to be realistic, and it's going, right, okay, I've got this really good, fantastic idea, I'm going to make £1 million a year. Let's be honest, that's not going to happen. You've got to put some hard work into it, and put some kind of things. I mean, actually, I had a conversation yesterday morning about something. Someone had a really great idea, and he's turned it into a really good business idea, and it was just something simple with guitars, a simple acoustic kind of thing with guitars, not expensive, but he's made a lot of money out of it. So it can happen, it can do, but you've got to apply yourself, and you've got to be consistent in how you're doing things to make sure that you're kind of getting your message across. And the thing is, you can't just go, right, okay, I've got a good idea, now we're going to put it out in the world, everyone's going to buy it. You've got to put that little bit more hard work about how to market yourself, about getting in front of that right client, and getting right people as well. And it's understanding how to do that with your marketing, with the way you're going to actually put your pricing in there. So yeah, it is about getting in the right place.
With there's when any business, you need the right skill set, knowledge, or whereas in marketing and planning, in the finance, and obviously mindset does come into it, and I'm sure you see this with your clients. That we all have as business owners, it's stressful at times, we have down days. And is that something, I mean, first of all, is that something you see the clients? Do you support, do you, when you give your coaching, do you sort of include that in a sense? Do you find that something you have to include, to how you can keep your clients
motivated? Yeah, absolutely. Because what I deal with in the mindset is more my focus is the money mindset. It's dealing with those money blocks, dealing with that confidence around money, being happy and enjoying money. I see so many people who have earned money, but they're not happy. They don't know what happiness means. And the thing is, we don't do happiness, and we've seen it. I've seen people with £1,000, £2,000, and it's gone within 5 days, because they just feel like, oh, I need it. No. Yeah. And it's just about doing that. And it's about dealing with that mindset of saying, right, okay, yes, I got this money, but I'm going to set it aside. Yes, I need to do this. Yes, I can do this. And it's something that's so simple. It's just sometimes just saying, yes, I can do this. And but it's like what we said, it's about being realistic. It's not saying, okay, right, I'm going to do this, and then tomorrow it's going to happen. It's about putting that effort, putting that requirement in, and it's that day-to-day stuff, that simple, easy kind of things, and that normal grit and grind that we need to do in having that plan, having that kind of thing of what that week looks like, how does that week look like, and then that month looks like, and just kind of repeat it, repeat. It just helps build it. But yeah, it's about getting those money blocks away as well, understanding that, because I've got money, I'm not going to be an evil person. Actually, you can be a good person with money. Or I'm going to be, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to hell if I've got all this money. All these wild acquisitions and everything else. Money can be good. You can be a good person. Money is not going to change you. You are who you are. Doesn't matter whether you've got money or not. It's about, and the thing is, if you think that money can provide for what your family wants, those holidays that you ever wanted, having that time freedom and that money freedom to have weekends, go to some nice theme parks, whatever it is you want to do, you might be able to go and support some charities as well. And even if you want to go and support some smaller businesses who have got some stuff, and go out and support them and say, right, okay, yes, let's help you out. Let's put some investment into our business. A business, help another person become successful in a business. So money,
I think,
is all.
yeah, that's a great point. I think money is, it's a thing sometimes I think we feel awkward about talking about, and it's sometimes it's always a dirty word in the sense that, talking about how much money we're earning, and it's clearly, money does have a relationship with happiness, because large proportion of society, especially in a moment cost living, are struggling for money. And obviously, that section of people, if they had more money, they wouldn't be struggling. And there's, if you've got more money, you can have better quality of life. There's a relationship there, but we deny these things. There is a link. And I think one of the things you touched on about, I think that was that celebrating wins. And I think that what I've noticed is, the people who, however much money they have, perhaps they don't ever seem satisfied. And I think there is something to do with, you can, keep wanting to make more money and setting higher targets, but you should, there's something about being obviously grateful for what you got and celebrating how much you have. So there could be someone who's starting out, they're not working or starting business, and 2,000 a month for them would be incredible. They can't, but when they get there and they'll be making that for a bit, they want to be running obviously 5,000, then 10,000. We all want to earn more, and that's fine. But I think, when you're at that 2,000, you've got to acknowledge it, own it, celebrate it, achievement.
Yeah.
And then, because I think if you never stop to realize where you've come from, where your journey's been, and where you celebrate it, all you're doing is constantly never being satisfied. You think you've never got enough, and actually look back and think, wow, actually,
yeah,
I had 2,000, now I'm 5,000. I think that's something I've noticed, and that, I think you said
absolutely, yeah. And that's what I do. That's why I say when we do that, when we get to that milestones, is we start to celebrate it and we find what it is that they're going to do. And it may even be something as simple as going out for a nice meal in a little bit nicer restaurant than they would usually to do, and then not having to worry about having to look at the right-hand column about that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to look at what I fancy to eat and I want to enjoy, and it's about saying, right, okay, you just earned £1,000, right, you've got £1,000 profit. What is it you're going to have? A little bit of reward. Okay, sure. Now you've got £2,000. Are you going to go out for a spa day? Are you going to actually have that weekend away, enjoying yourself, having a bit of life and luxury? And then you go, okay, well, let's do 3,000 holiday. Where do you want to go on holiday? It may be just going, right, okay, I'll tell you what, go to France, go to Croatia, wherever. It's just about having that kind of say, right, okay, I started to enjoy this. I'm starting to enjoy life. Money is about enjoying life, and that's what it's all about. And that's the thing that we need to be doing. And that's why we set those milestones and set those kind of rewards for each of those milestones. So that's what we're trying to do, and making sure that people are starting to enjoy life and not having to. And the thing is, it's quite amazing when you do see those kind of things, all of a sudden they got to go and get, okay, I need to go and get more now. And they're not worried about, all of a sudden they've gone from being, I'm worried about paying for the mortgage, to being, I'll tell you what, actually, I think I want to be earning this so I can go and have a nice holiday. Or I'm thinking about Australia now or America, and starting to different switches it. And when they start to see those pressures coming off, then they start to see the real rewards coming through with their business.
And I think it probably links back to the why. If you're setting your target, for 10,000 a month, whatever, why do you want to be earning that much? I mean, yes, you'll be earning more money, but what does that mean? Why do you want to earn more money? Is it because, I think it's, having a really clear, it's like clear, if you have clear goals, if you want to reach your goals, the same thing of having that why, is it to invest your pension so you can relax and retire? Is it to have a better quality of life with your family, education for your children? I think that's the why doesn't just guide what you do yourself in your business, but also your targets.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that you hit the nail on the head there. But yeah, absolutely, and it helps you drive yourself on to the next levels in your business.
So, coming to the end of our sort of interview, Warren, what tips or advice would you give business owners if they're perhaps starting out and they're trying to look at their pricing strategy? Because there's so many ways you can do it. You can look at obviously competitors. You can just sort of try and think what you think you're worth. I mean, where how do people, 3 tips or a few tips on how people can approach this?
So the first thing, never look at your competitors. The thing is, the way I always say it, there is no such thing as competitors, only collaborators. And the thing is, everyone says, well, yeah, you must be crazy because, yeah, absolutely. You may have the same title on the doors, but you have different value points. And that's the thing. Because like I say, when I say, right, you've got 2 restaurants, one on either side of the street, right? One restaurant is employing 5 people, one's employing 7 people. So therefore, 2 different requirements there, completely different. One's got a little bit more higher end ingredients than the other. So hold on, so he's got to pay a little bit more because his ingredients are a little bit more expensive. He'd be doing organic or be doing fair trade or whatever he's doing. So he's got, all of a sudden he's got that. So and also I might be all right, he's got business rates. So hold on, he's got a little bit more to need to charge and what it is. Therefore, and hold on, but then what about the owner? What does he want to achieve? How does he want to live his life? What does success mean to him? What does he want to do? So therefore, so that business there, even though they're 2 restaurants and they're offering the same meal, they have got 2 different price qualities because they've got 2 different requirements. So therefore, never ever do your competitors, because you don't have a competitor. You may be a copywriter and you may have another copywriter, but you can still work together. So therefore, never ever price yourself to a competitor. And actually, if you want to do a simple terms, don't just think about pricing yourself to say, right, okay, I've got my mortgage, I've got my household bills here, I've got my food. That's £2,000 a month. I want to be earning £2,000 a month. And how can I write? So I want 5 clients, and they're right, £2,000. So that's going to be £400 per client. Let's think a bit bigger.
Sure.
Let's set that as a milestone, correct? But don't just go, right, now they're going to stop at 2,000. Just think, right, yes, I need to be doing that, but I need to be pricing myself to where I can say, right, okay, yes, that's 2,000, but I need to be earning 4. I need to be earning double that. I want to be earning that double to do that. Understanding. And the thing is also, a lot of people go for quantity over quality. So therefore, don't think about absolutely, I've got a business. Oh, I've got like 30. Oh, no, I tell you what, I've got 40. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. A good business can have 10.
Sure.
And it's about actually quality rather than quantity. And it's saying to yourself, right, okay, I tell you what, I've got 2,000. I want to be going to 4,000. Yeah, okay, we've got to get past that thing. We want to make sure we get to that line. That's nice. But don't think you're going to stop there. You've got to keep going and say, right, okay. So my kind of goal really with my pricing, the simple way is to go, right, there's 4,000. I'm looking for 10 clients. So there you go. There's £400. And that's where my goal is. Sure. It may be you want to do 8. It's about setting a nice realistic goal and not to say, set your glass ceiling so low. My system gives a little bit more, but there's a nice simple way of kind of looking at things to really set, because if you set £2,000, you're going to achieve £2,000, sure. But all you're going to end up doing is just paying your bills and you have nothing at the end of the month. That's not going to be great. You want to be having that life. And if you go, right, I tell you what, I've got £4,000 here, that's going to be quite nice. I can actually use some of that money to have that bit of life that I want. And yes, I know all kinds of bills that we're going to be paid. I ain't worried about that. So I'm actually comfortable. Even if I don't do nothing for a month, sure. I can put £2,000 into the bank. I know I've got a month's worth of bills to pay already done. If I do have a bad month, I've got it sorted. So it's about setting those goals, setting those ceilings higher than what you expect, setting it right and making sure that, okay, yes, some business can work on a higher model, on a low rate, everything else, but looking at more often, it's quality rather than quantity, and set that ceiling right.
Great, yeah, great tips, Warren. I mean, thank you so much, for your time. I think, you've packed the interview with, practical tips there, and I think some great points about planning in your business, the importance of setting clear goals, where you want to be, having that plan in place, understanding money, and and the importance of it and what it means to you, and being clear on what you need to charge to be where you want to be, getting that pricing right is such a tricky subject, in life and business, but it's so important to to have that understanding of it and approach it the right way. And you've shared so many tips, and I think a lot of things to consider. I think this is a great subject we need to talk about more. And I think if anyone's watching this, I will share the details if anyone wants to get in touch with Scott and have a chat about what he does and how he can help them. Do subscribe to this channel. Lots of more interviews with other coaches, consultants, sharing their tips and advice and techniques, for growing your business, building your brand. I'm a copywriter, and I find copyright services, consulting services help you build your brands and increase your engagement for your business through copywriting.